Today, we are jumping headfirst into a source that really laid the groundwork for so much of modern manifestation philosophy.
Long before law of attraction was a household phrase.
Exactly. We are tackling Florence Scovel Shinn's 1925 classic, The Game of Life and How to Play It.
And what a title. It's such a foundational text, and Shinn wastes absolutely no time. She just states it, plain and simple. Life isn't a battle you have to endure.
She says it's a game.
A game you are meant to win. But, like any game, you have to know the rules.
And that's our mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
To really distill those spiritual rules for you. Shinn's whole system is rooted in new thought principles.
Right. This idea that you can align your inner world, your thoughts, your words with divine law to attract, everything. Prosperity, love, fulfillment.
It's pretty much the ultimate spiritual success manual.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea is if you get how these laws work, you can stop fighting your circumstances and start creating them.
A complete shift in perspective.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we begin? I think we have to start with that fundamental principle from Chapter 1.
The creative power of mind and word. Yeah. She calls it the law of giving and receiving, but I love her visual for it.
The boomerang concept.
The boomerang, it's perfect, isn't it? Everything you send out, every judgment, every kindness, every thought of lack or abundance is a boomerang.
It goes out and it comes right back.
With shocking accuracy sometimes. You give criticism, you get criticism, you give love, love comes back. It's just the basic mechanism of the universe.
Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Precisely. So the quality of your life is really just a mirror, a reflection of the boomerangs you've been throwing.
Which means we have to understand the mind that's throwing them. Shinn breaks it down into three parts.
The three departments, yeah. You have the conscious mind, which is the thinking, reasoning mind.
Then the subconscious.
The engine room. And then the superconscious, or the God mind, which is where all the perfect ideas come from.
And the subconscious is the one we really need to get a handle on.
Absolutely. Shinn says it's a faithful, literal servant. It just executes the programs you feed it, no questions asked. And this is so important, it has no sense of humor.
Why is that so critical to her whole teaching, that lack of humor?
Because it can't tell the difference between a real desire and, just an idle negative comment you throw out.
So if you're constantly complaining, even as a joke,
it takes it as an instruction. It just says, yes, master, and starts creating that reality for you.
Which brings us to that famous and frankly kind of chilling story she tells about the woman who was always joking.
That she was sick and tired of her big house and wished she could just live out of a trunk.
And the subconscious being that literal servant.
It delivered exactly that. She lost her home, ended up in a tiny single room with all her things in storage. She literally got her wish to live out of a trunk.
Wow. It's such a powerful lesson in just monitoring your own casual speech.
We're programming our reality all the time, even when we think we're just kidding.
It makes you realize how much energy we waste on that kind of casual negativity. So the fix, for her, is to replace fear with faith.
And she calls fear inverted faith.
I love that phrase.
It's profound, isn't it? It means fear isn't just some passive thing. It's an active, creative force. When you're afraid, you're using your powerful imagination to attract the very thing you don't want.
You're putting faith in the negative outcome.
Exactly. You're misusing your divine creative power. The whole point of the game is to smash and demolish those old beliefs built on fear.
Okay, so this leads directly to the power of the spoken word in Chapter 3. If the subconscious is always listening,
then every single word you say is a decree. It's shaping your destiny. She quotes the Bible, death and life are in the power of the tongue.
And through what we say over and over again, we're basically creating our own personal spiritual laws.
We see that so clearly in her story about the father and daughter and the bus.
Oh, right. The father always said,
I always miss my bus. And of course he did. His life was full of that kind of inconvenience. But his daughter affirmed just as consistently, I always catch my bus.
And she always did.
They were living under two totally different sets of rules, created by their own words. The universe doesn't argue with your decree, it just fulfills it.
Which is why she says man should only use his words for three things.
To heal, to bless, or to prosper. That's it.
So if our words are our wands, how do we intentionally direct them toward tangible things, like abundance? This brings us to the law of prosperity.
Yes. The core idea here is that infinite spirit is our limitless, unfailing supply. There's a cosmic bank that never runs dry.
A supply for every demand.
Always. So prosperity doesn't depend on the economy or your job. It hinges on one thing.
Expectancy.
Just that, your level of expectancy.
So what does that look like in practice? It's not just thinking positive thoughts, is it?
No, it's way beyond that. It's active, bold faith. Shinn says you have to make the first move. You claim what you want, and then you have to act as if you already have it.
This is the acting your faith part.
Exactly.
Tell us that story about the woman with the $3,000 debt. That's a perfect example of what this looks like under pressure.
Right. She was totally hopeless, deadline looming, no way to pay it. And Shinn tells her to just have perfect faith and then act that perfect faith.
What did that mean for her? What did she actually do?
It meant she had to maintain total calm and confidence. She had to know the supply was on its way, even with zero evidence. She didn't panic. She didn't borrow.
Yeah.
And through a completely unexpected channel, an old business associate, the full amount just arrives.
Yeah.
Miraculously, just hours before the deadline. The moment she let go and trusted, the universe opened a way.
So it's about claiming it boldly, but also those small daily habits, like not saying, I can't afford that.
And always blessing the money you do have. Gratitude is the multiplier. If you resent the $10 in your wallet, you're slamming the door on 100. Blessing what you have magnifies it.
And after you speak the word for supply, you have to be ready for the intuitive nudge, the hunch.
Yes. That hunch is the bridge. It's the delivery system. And it often seems totally random, like the woman who prayed for prosperity.
And her inner guidance told her to go back to her old hometown.
Right, which must have seemed completely illogical. But she follows the lead, runs into an old friend, and that friend provides the exact business opportunity she needed. The supply was already there, but the hunch guided her to it.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so we know how to claim our good. But what about when things go wrong? Let's talk about the law of non-resistance.
This is spiritual jujitsu. It's not being a doormat. It's meeting a challenge with calm, fearless faith.
Because whatever you resist
Persists, and it usually grows stronger.
Why is that? Why does resisting make it worse?
Because you're feeding it your energy, your focus, your emotion, you're giving it life. When you stop fighting it, you starve it. Shinn's quote on this is so freeing. Face a situation fearlessly, and there is no situation to face.
It just falls away.
Of its own weight, yeah.
The classic example is the woman who had a superstition about ladders.
She was paralyzed by it, lived in constant fear of walking under a ladder, and so, of course, everywhere she went.
There are ladders.
Ladders everywhere, reinforcing the fear. Shinn told her the only way out was to prove her faith was stronger than the superstition. She had to walk under one on purpose.
And what happened when she decided to do it?
The moment she made that internal shift and faced the fear, the ladder she was walking toward was just pulled away. Her inner change dissolved the outer problem.
And non-resistance also applies to people, right? Not retaliating.
Exactly. You neutralize an attack by refusing to match its low vibration. Like the mother who was so anxious about her daughter's trip.
The more she fought the daughter's plan, the more determined the daughter got.
Right. But the moment the mother just let go internally, affirmed the divine plan, and stopped resisting.
The daughter just changed her mind on her own.
Calmly, of her own free will, she canceled the trip. The mother's internal shift created the result without a single argument.
That effortless change leads us right into Chapter 5, Karma and the Higher Law, which is forgiveness or grace.
Right, we know the boomerang. We get back what we give with astounding accuracy.
And for someone who's spiritually aware, that feedback can be almost instant.
Like the woman who snapped no more talk at her elderly aunt.
And the very next day, she gets that exact phrase snapped right back at her.
From someone she was trying to impress, no less. It was just instant, direct karmic feedback.
But the real game changer here is grace. How does forgiveness actually neutralize karma?
Think of karma like a debt on a spiritual ledger. Forgiveness of others and yourself is the act of canceling that debt. It's a higher law that supersedes the lower law of cause and effect.
So you don't have to reap what you sowed.
Not if you sincerely forgive and release the burden, like the woman who got a counterfeit bill because of an old joke with fake money.
Her past action created the current problem.
Yep. But as soon as she spoke words of forgiveness and grace, releasing the whole thing, the bank situation corrected itself through some loophole she didn't even know existed. Forgiveness literally reorganized reality.
And the final tool for dealing with obstacles is casting the burden.
This is so critical. It's about surrendering the anxiety. When you hold a problem in your worried conscious mind, you're choking the solution. Casting the burden means handing it over to the superconscious.
The Christ within.
Right, to the part of you that knows every possible solution. It's saying, I let go, I trust.
Like the student who needed to get rid of that heavy piano.
She was panicking. Shinn had her affirm, I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. The second she said it and really meant it,
The phone rang.
the phone rang instantly. Someone needing that exact piano, the solution was already there, just waiting for her to get out of the way.
It's fantastic. Okay, so now that we can attract supply and handle obstacles, how do we align with our highest possible good, our divine design? That starts with the law of love.
Love is the highest vibration. It fulfills all the other laws. And for Shinn, love isn't just affection, it's goodwill, appreciation, and really importantly, use.
All unhappiness comes from violating this law in some way.
And she uses that powerful example of the wealthy woman who hoarded all her jewelry but never wore it.
Right. Her hoarding was a form of mistrust, a fear of lack.
Exactly. And because of that, her ability to manage her affairs, even her physical mobility, became paralyzed. Hoarding cuts off the flow. You have to use and circulate what you have to get more.
And this law of love even works on difficult people, like a cruel boss.
Absolutely. The student who silently sent love to her abusive boss, affirming the divinity within him, he completely changed. You call forth the best in people by seeing the best in them.
Okay, so to stay in this alignment, we have to listen to that inner voice, the hunch.
After you've made your affirmation, you have to be quiet and listen for the instructions. It's a spiritual faculty that just points the way. It doesn't explain itself.
Like the woman seeking healing whose hunch seemed to be about furniture.
Totally unrelated, right. She was sick, and her inner voice told her to get her stuff out of storage and set up an apartment. Her life's congestion, the stored and unused substance, was reflecting in her body.
Following that lead cleared her health.
It cleared the path for her healing.
And following that specific intuitive path leads to the absolute pinnacle of her teaching, perfect self-expression.
The divine design. This is the place and the role that only you can fill. And Shinn is adamant that when you're on this path, work feels like play. It's not a grind.
That's the ultimate test, isn't it?
It is, and she makes this incredible promise about that path.
That the universe itself will finance the divine idea.
It will. When you commit to your highest calling, the supply just shows up. The people, the resources, it all flows without the strain of trying to force it.
So how do you start to figure out what that design is?
It's those deep, persistent desires, the things you love to do, the highest vision you have for yourself. That's why her affirmation is so powerful. Infinite Spirit, open the way for the divine plan of my life to manifest. Let the genius in me now be released.
It's a prayer of surrender, really.
To her own highest potential.
And finally, she gives us the practical tools. Denials and affirmations. Denials are for clearing out the negative appearances.
Declaring that sickness or lack isn't the permanent reality because it's not part of the divine idea.
And affirmations are the positive decrees. They state what is the divine idea: health, abundance, love. But she has that one huge warning.
Do not limit the results by asking for too little.
That story of the student asking for $600 is so perfect.
She affirmed for a specific, limited amount, $600, and got exactly that, even though the channel was ready to give her $1,000.
She capped the flow with her own limited expectation.
Which is why we should always ask for the divine selection and add that little phrase.
Under grace, in a perfect way.
Exactly. Let the universe handle the details.
So Shinn's entire manual really transforms how you see reality. It's not about things happening to you. It's about recognizing you are the player holding the controller.
The world is just dynamically responding to your inner state, your words, your faith, your expectations. It's a profoundly empowering system.
If you change the internal conditions, apply non-resistance, and use your words to heal, bless, and prosper.
The external world has to conform by spiritual law. That's how you win the game of life, by mastering yourself.
That's the ultimate takeaway. Shinn assures us that the supply for every demand is already here, and the solution to every problem is already prepared. So if your words are your wand and they must be used to heal, bless, or prosper, what specific word or affirmation will you decree today to invite your divine design to manifest?